Are you a business owner looking for real advice and input? You're in the right place. From concept to launch to growth, funding, and beyond. Welcome to Startup Hustle with your hosts. One once sold a business for $150 million. The other, the author of $1 Million Bedroom. Here are your hosts of Startup Hustle, Matt DeCoursey and Matt Watson.
I can't believe you dragged me out of my tour bus for this.
I know, but you're here.
I'm here.
I know, but I'm worn out, dude. I have been at it.
I know. I get up every morning and I jog my memory.
Playing esports?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we should talk about that today. We brought a couple up and comers in the. I don't even want to say that. These dudes have arrived actually. So I'm just gonna go ahead and introduce them. We've got with us today Mason Mullenioux. Is that correct?
Close, Mullenioux.
Mullenioux. I knew I was going to mess that up. And for those of you listening, I did ask before we recorded. And Aaron Hawkey. Mason's the CEO, and Aaron is the CTO of High School Esports League. Welcome.
Yeah,
good to be here.
Thanks for having us.
I appreciate you guys coming. So I'm pretty worn out from playing esports all morning. But
I've got a big question.
What?
What is an esport?
Yeah, I was going to ask the same thing. I think we should go ahead and dive right in. What is esports? Is it what are esports or what is esports?
Are we talking about playing Fortnite here, or are we talking about playing, like, what are we talking about?
Yeah,
Fortnite's one of them.
Yeah, it's one of them. The
One of the
definition
many.
that I like to give is that it's any video game that can be played competitively.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and, esports has grown a lot. I'm going to be honest, you guys are going to do a lot of education today because I'm 43. I'm not a gamer. And I'm just amazed at the growth. I mean, they're talking about putting this in the Olympics. Am I correct?
That's so crazy to me.
I know. So, and it's clearly a big deal. Now, I believe that it was you guys that actually, one of you guys told me that one of the most viewed events, like Super Bowl kind of viewing, was an esports event.
Yeah, League of Legends, they have their world finals. It usually draws quite a few more viewers than the Super Bowl does. You got to keep in mind though, this is global. So you got, China is obviously a huge esports market.
Is Asia much bigger into esports than North America at this point?
It's usually how the trend goes. We're a couple years behind. That is slowly we're closing the gap, but that's usually how the trend goes.
When I was in Hong Kong 2 weeks ago, I was probably right in the middle of all of it.
Yeah.
Maybe. I've spent a lot of time worrying about the gap that needs to be closed between American and Asian esports.
One thing's for sure.
Keeps you up at night?
Yeah.
I look a little tired right now.
In Hong Kong, they have really cool, they called it a computer arcade, but it's like where they sold computer stuff like parts and Nintendo games, all that sort of stuff. It was like the coolest thing I'd ever seen. It made Micro Center look like a shitty place.
I'm sure.
It was like the nirvana of all nerds and geeks to go buy computers or electronics or gadgets. It was off the charts.
Interesting.
Really cool. There was a lot of esports nerds there.
Was everybody wearing a skinny tie that worked there like Micro Center? Is that a requirement?
It was cool.
So let's talk, before we get into too much of this, let's talk little bit about what you guys do because it's impressive. You guys have built quite the platform so far at highschoolesportsleague.com, and this is give us a little background about why you guys started it, and more so what you guys do. And I'll leave it up to you if you want to share like how many people are in your platform. I will preface it by saying it's a lot.
Sure.
Mason.
Yeah, so we started it was a passion project. Charlie, the other co-founder that's not here, and I went to high school together, college together, and when we graduated, the market had just crashed in 2008, so we were a couple years after that, but it still was awful. No one could find jobs, so we decided, we were delivering pizzas at the time, both living at home. We were like, well, what are we going to do? We need to do something. So we would sit and brainstorm ideas. The one that stuck was, why can't we play video games as a team sport in high school? So we decided that we were going to give it a try. So we didn't know where to start. We didn't know what the hell we were doing. So we just started on Facebook marketing, trying to run tournaments for one game. We got 20 teams, and we were like, holy cow, there's something out there for this. And it was all just, we wanted to get back.
What year was that? You said 2009?
This was 2012.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a couple years after we'd graduated. We were like, wow, there's actually something here, so let's continue. Let's see where this goes. That's when we found AJ. He was doing something similar out in San Francisco. He had 8 local teams, and he ran a season. He actually owned the domain name, and that's how we got in touch. And then we just started playing video games together, and it was just a natural fit that we continue on. But the passion part, it was a hobby for a long time after that, a couple more years, to the point where it got so big that we had to decide whether we were going to keep doing this or quit our jobs and find a way to monetize.
So is the goal to create a community where you can get just like-minded people to team up together and do these? Are they more like tournaments, or just like for people to play ad hoc?
No, so we wanted it to be a season. We wanted it to be just like football, baseball,
so it's like
soccer.
A structured tournament.
Yes, yeah. So it's 8 weeks long with a playoff and a finals every fall and spring.
I would have loved this. I mean, so I go back like 15 years ago playing Halo 3 and all that sort of stuff and getting my ass kicked most of the time by 5-year-olds. But this would have been awesome, right? I would have ate this up. It would have been a lot of fun.
How is that different from when you're not playing video games?
Well, I don't get teabagged in real life.
Oh, God. Jesus. This is why I need a buzzer with you. So.
Hey, you don't know what that means unless you play esports.
Yeah. I thought that was a mushroom stamp.
Thanks for clarifying.
Anyway, this is why we mark our show explicit. It is for adults, and if your children are listening, man, I'm sorry. All right, so as far as your platform goes, now, obviously the term high school is in it. So, and this is what I found to be so interesting when I was talking to you guys. So high schools, is it the school? All right, so I went to Blue Valley North High School. Like, does Blue Valley North have like a school-sponsored team, or is that like high schools do that the same way I played on the baseball team?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm not sure if they specifically do. I know there's a couple of Blue Valley schools coming on.
High schools in general.
So now, since we've started the platform and AJ has developed that out, it's a place where they have to have teacher oversight, and the administration has to have buy-in, so they've approved it. So that means they can use their logos and colors.
So to be like a really true sanctioned school team.
Right.
I mean, they could create a school team anyways, right? But to make it a true school team.
It's mainly club-based right now. Some schools are starting to adopt it into their varsity programs, which is really cool because they can letter in it, get credit for it.
That's crazy.
But right now, the vast majority is club-based. So just like you were talking about. Yeah.
So I would imagine at some point, especially early on, like this is probably a lot easier to get schools or people to buy into and adopt than it was 5 years ago. And people are like, wait, you want to play video games as a sport in school? Like,
yeah.
I mean, is that a common reaction or things that you have to kind of climb over when you deal with the schools or getting involved with them?
We used to.
Yeah.
Not so much anymore. I think it has a lot to do with there's a lot more exposure for esports. The market's ready for this.
Right.
Back when we started, I think we were a little ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
And we were just waiting for everybody to catch up. The last couple of years we've seen that. It's been insane growth compared to the years prior. And we don't get much pushback anymore. A lot of people ask that, and I usually just say you'd be surprised at how little pushback we get, even with the shooter games and the hyper-realistic military stuff. We have a number of Catholic schools that they have 5 CSGO teams, which is Counter-Strike Source, or Global Offensive.
Global Offensive, yeah.
And has terrorists and counter-terrorists, in the name and winning, and it's super hyper-realistic.
I think the problem is these schools are realistic now to know, okay, we can tell the kids they can't do this, but they've already been doing it for like 8 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think some of it too is
my 9-year-old plays Fortnite, even though I don't want him to play it all the time.
But you were a gamer growing up. See, our parents were not.
No.
And I'm older, And I remember when my dad brought home an Atari. I was 5, and like it was a big deal. Like Pac-Man, Asteroids was like the very first Pac-Man and Asteroids. And then when Miss Pac-Man came out, oh my God, that was like game changing. But my dad had never played video games prior to that, and so he's still like my age now when that was coming out. So I would imagine that some of it too is like but you and I, we played games growing up.
Yeah, I mean, my early 20s were a lot of Halo.
Yeah, and I think
for
that
many hours.
I think that
getting killed by 5-year-olds.
Am I right about that? Do you think that has something to do with it?
I think that has a large impact. Charlie, he talks to a lot of parents in schools. Yeah. He says that all the time. Parents are more worried about where can I get a scholarship for my kid? Where can he go pro? Instead of let's stop him from playing. This is unhealthy.
Now, if you go back to my high school days, none of this was really possible. I mean, when I was like 15, 16, I think we were one of the first cities to get broadband internet. Like, that was totally new. Now, I do remember when I was in high school playing like Unreal Tournament. This was like late 90s. Like, that was like cutting edge. You go back 20 years ago. Like, broadband and all that stuff was new. It's weird to think that, but how big of a difference that has on like the generation of people we're talking about like our parents and even ourselves. Like, I was at the right cusp of the age myself as a high schooler to be even like it was even technically able to do this. Before that, I played text-based games. I played a ton of text-based games on bulletin boards. That's what I played before cable broadband and all that stuff. And I played Unreal Tournament.
How old are you, Matt?
73.
You're
37.
Yeah, well,
I graduated high school in 1999.
Right, and I was 93, and I mean, I saw the internet for the first time when I was in high school, so I might be a little bit outside that. And you just mentioned scholarships. So are people earning scholarships? Like, and are those provided by third parties, or is it the actual universities actually have built in?
So it's a little bit of both. We as an organization give out scholarships for our our seasons. We've given out probably about 100,000, maybe a little bit more in scholarships to students that play with us.
Okay. Wow.
We've helped facilitate, so last year, that being 2018-2019 school year, through the colleges and universities around the country that have esports programs, it was about 16 million given out in scholarships. That number is expected to more than double this year. I think it's almost already hit, where it was last year, and we're not even into the 2019 fall school year. So it's a crazy amount, and it's just going to get crazier.
For any schools listening, I have all 4 years of eligibility left. I am still, I have not used up any of my eligibility for esports or any other sport, so I'm open.
Question for you. So your guys' focus sounds like, obviously based on your company name, is high school. But what about like if Matt and I wanted to play Fortnite together and find a bunch of other dudes in Kansas City to do a tournament? Can we do that with your platform?
So that's another thing that we've been working on, is white labeling the platform. AJ could probably speak more to that. We've been in talks with. So
your focus is only high school teams.
Right now, we're laser focused there.
Okay.
We want to go to middle school. We would love to do corporation leagues, business, local, intramural.
Company team stuff coming soon.
Yeah.
I'm going to be so bad.
Talk about corporate challenge.
Like
a whole new era.
If I play these games, I'm the guy that's like, my dude is running into the corner, just jumping up and down.
Yeah.
Like I'm the guy that you find in the corner jumping by himself, and then you just kill me. And then I spawn, and then you just kill me again. Yeah. You don't want me on your team. That's what I'm trying to say.
You can be a coach or analyst.
Maybe. I'll be a
strategy.
sponsor.
Okay, you guys go over there and I'll get killed, and I'll stay here.
Yeah. You'd be like DeCoursey. You go over there, make them chase you, and then we'll go capture the flag.
Go distract them and commit suicide over here.
That's part of why I never got into games. Like, I mean, some people are just good at that stuff. Like, I was okay, but I was never great.
I was never that great at it.
So you guys have had a high level of adoption of your platform. Can we talk about that? Because I mean, I just really think it's just such a validating factor. Like, and I don't know I was just super impressed with how many people are in it. And
yeah, Yeah, sure. Yeah, we have, so we partner directly with schools. We have about 1,700 now that are on the platform.
1,700 high schools.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a lot of schools.
It's impressive, right?
Mainly the U.S. We're starting to push a little bit into Canada, just because everybody can play on the same servers, North American servers. Excuse me.
Yeah, you're gonna need to make your whole system language support multiple languages.
Yeah, that's something
So
we
you can go
about
conquer
too.
Asia.
Yeah.
There's South America has a huge esports scene that's kind of bubbling up. We've been thinking about that.
Yeah.
And South Korea, they don't really have any infrastructure around high school, which you'd think they would. So we've been thinking about that
Yeah.
too. We have we have about 60,000 users on the platform now. Most of them are in school clubs, but we do offer free agent tournaments called Opens, where anybody can sign up and get verified as a high school student and play.
Oh yeah, we've got eligibility left, I think.
Yeah, there you go. You gotta have a student ID, so you probably need to.
I can fake one of those.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you guys monetize this? Do you charge the school? How does that work?
Yeah, it just depends. We're pretty flexible with them. The student can pay individually. They can gather their money and pay together, or we can invoice the school.
So you pay like per, if you have a league or a season, that's a set cost,
Mhm.
and that's
Yeah.
going to
Right.
be split amongst the different, however many teams.
Yeah, and then we sell longer lengths of activation, so we have semester length and then yearly length as well.
Okay.
Can you guys share what it costs, or will you
Yeah,
share that
it's about $20 to $30 a season, depending on how long the season is.
per school or
Per
per person? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So and how many people are on a team?
It depends on the game you're playing. So,
So
if you're,
some games you'll play singular,
Yeah,
some
it-
teams as team.
yeah,
I think the more important thing is how many people are in a club.
Right.
So
Okay.
on average, it's about 15, and that number is going up
15 per school or
per school.
Okay.
Yeah, and that number is going up. Some schools have over 100.
So if you have 8 teams in the league and 15 people, you got 120 people playing in there. That's a lot. That's a lot.
yeah.
I think people that build software or entrepreneurs in general just grossly overestimate or underestimate how difficult it is to get one user into your platform.
So
Yeah.
your guys' goal is to organize the tournaments and figure out when people play and who's going to play and stuff like that, right? So
Yeah.
do you guys also pull in any kind of stats around like how you perform, like metrics from the games and stuff like that
Currently,
too?
no, we're not, but that's something that we're building right now. Yeah.
I imagine
and
those.
the trouble is that we have to work with game publishers to do that. So we're trying to figure out a way that we can universally aggregate statistics without having to integrate with every single game publisher, because esports come and go really fast, and we want to be able to collect statistics for everybody in any
Yeah.
game that they're
What
playing.
are the games that everyone? I mean, what are the most popular games? I hear Fortnite all the time, but what are the other ones?
Fortnite, League of Legends,
Okay.
Overwatch, Smash Bros.
Okay.
Yeah.
And those are the big ones.
Those are the big ones right now. Yeah.
Okay.
Counter Strike, you mentioned
Counter Strike's pretty good. Yeah.
It's consistently big.
Mm-hmm.
This will show you how uneducated I am on this subject. So, what are you playing these on? Are these on computer? Is this like a game system or?
that.
Most
Xbox
of them,
or PlayStation.
most of them are PC based.
Okay.
So League of Legends, CS:GO, Overwatch. Those are where the community is most.
Okay.
But Smash Bros. That's played on the Switch. And then we also are now offering NBA 2K, Madden, and those are predominantly played on PS4 and Xbox.
Or maybe we could play some Madden together.
I'm still terrible.
Or actually, can we just play like Tecmo Bowl? That'd be more fun.
I'd be okay with that. Once we got past the B and the A button and
Yeah.
just like the little 4-way.
And you could get a touchdown on every play.
If I'm Bo Jackson,
Yeah.
then yeah.
I want to bring the NFL Blitz back. That was the best.
It might be kind of fun to do a retro game.
There
Yeah,
we go.
well, retro
Seasons.
games. I mean, that's if I'm gonna
Some
play.
Pong.
If I play games, so well, Pong's a little too basic.
A little
like
too fast for you.
Tecmo Bowl. No, yeah. Tecmo Bowl. Like I got into that. I used to play that. What did I never really liked the adventure games. Like I never really liked trying to find the secret door in some other place. Like I played
Your
sports.
ADD
growing-
kick.
Yeah, I didn't
kicks
have,
in
maybe I
and
didn't have the
you're like,
patience or
yeah.
the attention to detail or something like that. My parents really weren't super supportive of us playing video games a lot, but yet my dad played Tetris for hours a day. So and I'm not even good at that either.
Yeah.
I guess I stick with other things. So, Aaron, I have a couple questions for you.
Sure.
So, as the CTO of this company, and you have this platform with all these different people that are in it. There's got to be do you have surge demand in times when you get a lot of people playing in there? And what are some of the technical challenges that you've had to overcome? And what would your advice be for those that are trying to scale a platform in the same way you guys have done?
Yeah, totally. Luckily, we haven't had a lot of downtime, and that's been just super easy running it on AWS. So we haven't had a lot of trouble there. We do have a lot of surge time on weekends when kids are putting in match scores and different things like that and trying to find their matches. The biggest problem that we had to solve for was communication. So making sure that people are able to contact their opponent and be able to set up those matches. So there's a huge problem between player-to-player communication, teacher-to-player communication, and teacher-to-teacher communication on the platform, because there's a lot of moving parts to getting these games played, and being able to solve that through a chat system and different things like that to make the matches happen faster and go smoother.
I mean, you also have to worry about some data privacy sort of stuff there too, and who can contact you,
so,
and cyberbullying
right.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, sometimes there's a few school districts that have issues. They have some sort of policy in place where you can't collect certain data points. And some states, even like Connecticut, has some weird law where you can't collect student data. But the majority of it is just COPA compliance that we have to follow.
What's COPA?
So you have to be 13 or older to make an account.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. So what about dispute resolution? What if you're two people are playing a game and there's a dispute? Do you guys have to deal with that? How do you get that figured out?
That's a surprisingly manual process that has to happen. So we have a way for people to upload proof items on the platform. If they put in a win, they upload some sort of end game screen where they're the true winners of the match. That soon will be automated with our all-inclusive stat reporting system.
Well, that'd be cool if you could integrate with Twitch or something like that, so you could just automatically collect the whole stream.
We are, yeah.
That's cool.
That's also something that we are working on as well in our product roadmap. But we are integrated with Twitch currently, so.
That's cool.
Yeah. I just still think that's crazy. Talking about the dispute resolution and all that. There's
high schoolers are surprisingly petty.
Is that surprising?
No.
So
sometimes unreliable.
Okay, so what happens if I win? I mean, is this just for prestige and glory? Are there actual prizes? Because and then I'm actually going to couple that into so there's, I don't know, you guys would know, but there are people that have made quite the living as esports. What's the guy's name?
Ninja?
Yeah. Is he the one? Is he the name brand guy?
Right now, yeah.
Okay. Now I saw a documentary on him.
I've seen TV commercials about him.
He's doing quite well.
Red Bull.
He's doing quite well.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put it that way. So how does that dude make money? How do other people make money doing this? And and on a high school level or higher, what are some of the prizes or glory?
Yeah. So
what are we competing for?
So right now you're competing for scholarships mainly, as an individual. But for our summer invitational tournament, which is happening right now, those are the best teams within our league that are invited to the tournament. We're working with MSI to provide computer labs for the winners of that tournament.
And who's MSI?
MSI is a hardware retailer. They sell computers, monitors, graphics cards, all that sort of stuff, high-end gaming computers.
I mean, are there platforms out there, and obviously you guys could be one of these, where people could continually enter these tournaments? It's a $20 entrance fee, and then whoever wins the tournament, splits the pot of...
Yeah, there's a lot of platforms out there right now that do that. We could do that, but we just feel that there's so much more value in the educational space and amateur space, and it's just easier to get more people involved.
And those platforms don't really see a lot of success because it's just one-offs.
Right, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
These are tied to a community at their school team, so there's a lot more to it. People don't really care if they can just log on and...
Well, I'm going to guess the high schools don't really want the kids playing to win money either.
Yeah, and we have rules against that too.
Yeah.
So
amateurism.
It seems like potentially you could take your product though and just clone it and have a sort of commercial version of
This is just a really interesting, cutting-edge modern version of tribe building and the power of it. So the concept of tribe building is where the people are as find as much value in the interaction they have with each other as they do with whatever's on stage or the product or whatever. And I would assume that's why the communication needed to be where it is. So the people that are playing in these leagues, they are also communicating with each other. And is that like an ongoing thing? Or they?
Yeah. So there's this one platform that we use for communication called Discord. And that's huge in the gaming space. They have tons and tons of users, and it's basically like Slack, but for gamers.
Okay.
And our Discord community has, about 20,000 members right now? So imagine a Slack, public Slack forum with 20,000 gamers talking back and forth, talking about, new metas and different things like that.
Yeah, there's also channels on there for recruiting. So we have over 200 probably recruiters on there that are from college and universities trying to find students to come join their program.
Wow.
We also have scrim channels, so students in their off time can find other teams around the country to play against so they can keep their skills up.
Yeah, and the whole tribe is a powerful draw wherever you can get it, and like that'll. It happens in a lot of different things. That sense of community is powerful for people, and that I would imagine that. So, do you get a lot of people that are coming back into your platform just for that, and not even to play, not even for the games that they're playing?
Yeah. Sometimes people just hang out in the Discord and have friends there. They're having trouble getting, a club started at their school. They just participate in the opens every once in a while. So it's kind of a good way to get them involved, even if they're hitting a brick wall at their school.
My youngest sister, met her now husband playing, I think, League of Legends.
Really?
And he was actually in Sweden.
Wow.
Somehow or another, they met playing League of Legends. They played hours and hours and hours.
See, that's that whole.
And ended up getting married.
That's that whole pseudo tribe or something like that, and that's the people keep going back, and it's amazing the bond that gets created around stuff like that. I mean, everything from music to you talk about just the growth of the internet in general, the chat room, and just that kind of stuff was revolutionary. That sense of community was such a big thing. So. Going forward, what are some of the things that, you had mentioned a couple of them, but what are some of the things that you guys really want to do with your platform? Like what's going to take this on an international level, and we're going to, see this being the driving factor into my personal Olympic gold medal, because I'm making a comeback.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that we want to do. Really, we want to hone in on the product and make sure that we have a lot of reasons for the user to keep logging in.
Sure.
So adding different services and different things like that onto the platform to really engage them with the community a lot more. So that's our end goal. And then once we get it there, we can really white label it and take it anywhere that we want, whether that's corporate leagues or any other amateur leagues, youth leagues, different things like that.
I could definitely see you. It's like you get this hundreds of thousands of people that use your platform in high school, and then kind of once they get past that, you have like a whole pro, semi-pro, same system, but outside of the high school realm.
Yeah, and then it's just a funnel at that point. You can just transfer your account. It's all on the same platform and everything like that. So it's super easy.
That would be
for
cool.
the user.
The whole idea of having corporate teams, I think, is a fantastic idea, actually.
Yeah.
And if you were going to do that, I would target software development teams because they all have nerds on them that play games.
Yeah.
Can you imagine a game where our employees got an opportunity to kill us?
Oh yeah,
we'd be doomed, man.
You would be.
Yeah, you would be.
Nah,
probably.
I'm great at Fortnite. I just run and hide. That's the whole point of the game, right?
That's a strat.
Is you just run and hide.
Survive.
Well, not in the esports world. It's counted by kills.
That's
your
true.
score. So you got to be active.
That's where I'm going to dominate.
You kill yourself. That counts, right?
I don't think so.
Oh,
that doesn't count. Then I'm
Sorry.
screwed. You said you by kills, it's the number that I would the times I got killed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a great way. So obviously, highschoolesportsleague.com is one place where we can check out what you guys do. Do you guys are you guys on? Are there some social media platforms where your folks gather? Or you guys keep people up to date?
Yeah, our Twitter, HSEL Esports.
Slower.
HSEL Esports.
Okay. All right, and is that where most of your community's gathered and chatting?
Yeah,
or?
and then our Discord as well. So if you want to go to that, you just type in on your URL on your browser, discord.gg/HSEL.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
I gotcha. So what are some of the big events that are coming up with esports? Like, is there you guys? What was the event you mentioned earlier? It's the World Championship.
Yeah, that happens in October.
Mm-hmm. Where is that?
It travels.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where it is this year.
I'm not
to be
sure
honest.
either.
You guys have
I
been
mean,
busy.
they've been at the Staples Center. They've been Madison Square Garden. Like,
Yeah.
they sell it out in 20 seconds. Yeah, it's crazy.
I was at a Microsoft event once for Microsoft Build, and they have these parties, and one of the things we got to do was go to an AMC theater, and people could play, I think at the time it was Titanfall, on the big screen in the theater, like 150. That was like really cool.
Yeah.
You were sitting there playing Xbox games on the
I thought it
full-size
was funny,
theater.
the Royals as a fundraiser, they do an auction and you can play Mario Kart
Oh, wow.
on the giant scoreboard at the K,
Yeah.
and they auction it off during a game, and I think
That's
it
cool.
goes for like $2,500.
Wow.
And you get to like play Mario Kart like there, and it's pretty funny because they actually tested it and they let their employees do it. So our rep at our Royals rep got to play. Did you guys see this on the news? Because it actually, when the traffic helicopter just happened to be flying by, and it ended up kind of going viral. They're like, Royal Stadium employees caught playing Mario Kart on the scoreboard, and it really was like shared. I mean, it did kind of go viral, and I thought that was pretty funny. But that was actually like a sales contest for them, so they got to play. I thought that was interesting.
It's just cool to see games like that on the big screen.
Yeah,
Like that's cool.
So let's talk about you guys. What's your favorite game, Aaron?
Well, right now, the most recent game that I played religiously was Call of Duty Blackout.
Okay.
Yeah, the new Call of Duty 4, Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Yeah.
Okay.
But I played a lot of League of Legends.
That was the last game I actually got into, Call of Duty. I think it was back at 2, and I enjoyed that.
I don't like games that I get shot and die, because I get shot every time and die. So
That was tough. Like
does that pretty much rule me out of all games?
maybe.
No, not really. No.
What are you trying to do? Be a dragon? Something else?
That's right.
What's your avatar, Matt? What are you going to be?
Oh, I don't know.
You're a unicorn, buddy.
Yeah, unicorn.
Like
That's
a purple one,
Yeah.
like the one I saw with my daughter at JoJo's.
Yeah,
Siwa.
I'm JoJo's unicorn.
Yeah. What about you, Mason? What's your game of choice?
I guess the last one I really played was Blackout with AJ, but I
Did
got
you,
into
did you kill him?
Oh, we usually squatted up.
Yeah,
Played on the same team.
we were really good.
Yeah. We were pretty good,
I
actually.
don't
Yeah.
want to play these guys.
And Apex Legends, I played that quite a bit. And then now with WoW Classic coming out in August, I reactivated my WoW subscription. So I'm playing
Is
it
WoW
a
still
little
very
bit.
big, or has that kind of really died off?
I think their numbers have dropped. It still has a huge community, but I think WoW Classic is going to be pretty big, I hope. That's what I fell in love with, so
Right.
I'm excited for
World
that.
of Warcraft is what we're talking about.
I'm
Yeah.
going to ask Aaron to hand me that box, that mixtape box over there, because we got to get you guys in the Mixtape Club. Now, this isn't quite an e-sport. It will be soon. Have you guys, all right, are you guys familiar with Mixtape?
No.
No.
All right, if you want to check it out, mixtapethegame.com. I'm going to pull a card out of here. I'm going to read a scenario, and we're all going to pick a song. And then we get
Oh,
to
man.
vote. And here's the thing, is we're used to playing this with 3 people. All right. This is so suiting for you. You just figured out that you have the most amazing dance moves ever. What song plays next? I'm going with the theme song from Saturday Night Fever. It's Staying Alive.
Mm-hmm.
No one in the studios right now is old enough to probably even know what I'm talking about. But yeah, Staying Alive, Staying Alive. It was like John Travolta. when
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
young, Anyway.
Dancing Queen.
Ooh, that's a good one. Damn it.
What is that, 25th of September? Who does that?
I don't remember.
You're Mason. You're more. You
Do
can sing
remember
it. There you go. I mean, you belt it out.
25th of September. Remember that?
Yeah.
Man. This is so
I know
hard.
what you're talking about.
I don't know song names.
That's okay, as long as you can sing it. That we'll count that as a
Terrible.
registration. I already know who won. You should.
Yeah,
just
he
quit it.
won.
I know. Aaron wins.
Aaron wins.
Aaron Hawkey, the dancing queen, is the winner of Mixtape, whatever episode number this is. Congratulations, you've won a scholarship to our podcast university.
Awesome.
Yeah,
When do I start?
We will give you a portion of the revenue that is generated from the podcast. So look forward to that check in the mail.
Sweet.
Yeah. All right. So on the way, as we kind of round this out, I think we should also, in the vein of Mixtape, pick our favorite classic game.
Okay.
Okay. So you guys can go first because I'm going to go really old school. I love Decathlon on the Atari.
Okay.
Like, that's as old school as it gets. But when that came out, I was like, and the reason I loved it is, you guys remember Track and Field, the stand-up arcade game? And, like, that was a really cool game to play, but, you know, I had to walk all the way up to, like, Circle K to play it. So Decathlon at home, let's go. I'll go with that.
I'm going to go with Unreal Tournament because I think that was one of the very first big multiplayer games.
And what is that?
Unreal Tournament. It came out in the late 90s, early 2000s. That was one of the first. And like most games, a lot of games today still use the Unreal Engine as one of the graphics engines. It's really popular,
Okay.
So if we're talking just platformer, I would say Super Mario Bros. 3. That's my favorite. If we're talking esport, StarCraft 1. Yeah.
Oh, now I have to think of 2.
Raising the bar.
Mine's probably Warcraft 2.
That's good.
I played so much of that. My brother so mad at me for hogging the computer all the time. If we're talking platformer, it's probably Turtles in Time.
Wow. I don't know what any of those are. You're talking about hogging the computer. I remember, like, one of the first real disputes I had with my little sister was the original NES and, like, who got to play Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
Like, we had, like, a timer. And, like, when that thing went off, you better be done. And you know what? My mom didn't care. She didn't care if you were about to get to level 5 through the warp tunnel. If that bell went off, you better be ready to quit. And then I also remember Duck Hunt or, like, Gumshoe. Those were, like, the original gun games that you had on the Nintendo. So, well, guys, this was really interesting. This time goes fast, and we're about out of time here. But if you guys want to, if you're listening, you want to check out what Aaron and Mason do, you can go to highschoolesportsleague.com. Check them out on Twitter. If you want to follow the Startup Hustle podcast, you can find us at Startup Hustle Podcast on Instagram and a lot of other places. And on behalf of Matt Watson, since he was such a beautiful performer today, reach down, hit that 5th star, hit that subscribe button. Guys, thank you so much for coming out. We appreciate everything you do. I think this is really cool. And if you guys are listening, go check them out online.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.